and welcome to SusyBLiving's Gardening by the Moon series. So it's Wednesday night and I have my next installment of what I will be doing for the rest of the week. So we've got a few interesting things happening. Let's start. So it is Thursday, the 28th of March. That's where I am starting. And that is Flowers Day on the moon phase calendar. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I am going to be doing. But of course, there are other things that you could be doing as well. Let me just remind you about what flowers means when it comes to edibles. So edible flowers are things like calabrese or broccoli, cauliflowers, globe artichokes. They're all edible flowers. And of course, all your edible flowers as well. Calendula, violas, nasturtiums, all of those things are edible flowers. But I am going to include ornamentals now because today I received my order from a company that I order from in the Netherlands called Farmer Gracy. I absolutely love their bulbs and perennials and all of their things. It's just, they have just some wonderful things. So I received a box full of goodies from them today, and so I will be well, I call it sowing because it's kind of sowing. I will be sowing things like all the dahlia tubers I got, all the lily bulbs I got, all the freesias, all of that type of thing. And they also do root cuttings as well. So I've got a couple of root cuttings and I will be potting those up. So when I do things like kind of deluxe or exotic bulbs and tubers, I always do them in pots, except dahlias. Dahlias go straight in the ground in the first year. The rest of them stay in pots, which brings me on to my transplanting. So all of the stuff that I had last year that were in pots, like all my lilies, I am now transplanting out into my garden, into my borders. And that is part of my transplanting that I will be doing. So I have all my spring flowering bulbs like narcissus, like tulips, like hyacinths, all of those things, fritillarias as well. They then go into the garden, and that gives me room in for my, I've got pots at least for my next lot of installment of bulbs that have come or tubers that have come from Farmer Gracy. So I will be doing that. Weeding and maintenance. I will be continuing to weed my borders. So anything that's flowering at the moment takes precedence all the time. So if I've got anything coming up that's flowering, I always weed around it. I always do a little bit of titivating. If I need to do a little bit of pruning as well, that happens first. And then if I've got any time left, I will do a little bit more weeding everywhere else or whatever's going to come up next. Remember, we've only got one day for the rest of this week of flowers days. The other thing is I have my cauliflowers and my calabrese or broccoli over at the allotment. I have taken the polytunnel off them now, and I've moved the little polytunnel onto my kales that I've got over there. I was over there today doing some work and they all look really, really good, but I just need to get underneath the netting that I've got on them now. I have to net everything over there because if I don't have pigeon problems, I've got caterpillar problems. I've got all sorts of bloomin' problems. So everything is netted. And when I have a moon phase day, I then open the netting and get involved with my plants. So I will be doing that as well. Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th of March are both unfavourable days. Unfavourable days are days that I go outside, I do some sweeping, I do some tidying up, I do some kind of, if I need to move things around. I've just got myself a new potting bench that was given to me by my neighbour. So I kind of, things like that. That's what unfavourable days are used for. And then Sunday, the 31st of March, is Leaves Day again. Now, I'm just warning you, the Leaves Days don't come up again until about the 15th of April. So if you've got leaves that you want to sow, for instance, like any spinach, any lettuce, any brassicas as well, if you want to sow any of those, I'm giving you a heads up. Just remember that Sunday could be your only day if you're following the moon phase calendar to do this until about 2 weeks later. So I am taking advantage of this and I am going to be sowing some more spinach. My first lot of spinach that I sowed this year was not good. It didn't really come up. It came up, but it died very quickly. So my second lot of spinach is good. And I'm just going to do one more sowing of true spinach, which is called Santa Cruz. Now, Santa Cruz has been said to not bolt. So I'm going to try it out. I'm only going to do 20. I'm going to do 2 seeds per cell and I will try them. And then I don't sow any more spinach because as we get warmer and we get towards midsummer, spinach wants to bolt. So I don't bother. That's when I take over with things like chard and perpetual spinach. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another batch of lettuce, and this lettuce is for the whole heads. I will be doing my Salanova lettuces, so I'll be doing Haflex, Extranet, Soyrat as well, and then I'll be doing my favorites like Navara, Canasta, which is one of my favorite summer lettuces, and Riccia, but I'm only doing 5 of each, so it's just to keep me going all the time. Because for my transplanting on Leaves Day, I have lettuce that I've got a lot of lettuce that I need to prick out and keep going. I also have some celery that is ready to prick out and go into bigger pots, 11 centimeter pots. I've got some red cabbage. I've got some more kaleets. I've got my spinach that I think I'm going to plant straight out into my raised beds. And I've got some Asian greens. I'm not sowing any more Asian greens now for the rest of the year until after the summer, because Asian greens for me don't really work. They want to go to seed, so I forget about them now. I put in this last lot and then enjoy them, and then I don't bother. The other thing I have are a few more kales that I've got to take over to the allotment, and also I'm starting to kind of pot on my herbs that I've got. So I've got herbs in little pots, I've got herbs in big pots, and I'm just kind of potting them on, especially mint, because it needs to be potted on. Weeding and maintenance, the greenhouse over the allotment is more or less full of leaves, so I need to go and have a look at that. I watered it today, it looks pretty good. I've got lettuce all dotted around here at home, and I've got my Asian greens. So I just go in, make sure I take off all the old leaves, anything that's decaying, and check for slugs. And that is more or less it. Feeding and watering now is kind of across the board. Anything that I feel that has been in the pot for a long period of time, I start to give it a little bit of a feed. I either give it a little bit of a multi-purpose feed like Miracle Grow, or I do something like a seaweed as well. And I just look at things and see whether they need a feed or not. And that is it. That's your week. That takes us to the end of March. There we go. This year has just flown by. So I hope you have a good rest of the week. And if you do celebrate Easter, I hope the Easter Bunny comes to you. And if you don't, I hope that you have a good weekend as well and do some gardening. And I will see you on Sunday night for your April installment. So I'm Susie B from SusyBLiving, and thank you for watching and following me along with my moon phase gardening schedule. I hope that you're getting something out of it. I hope that you're doing a few moon phase things, and if you are, and if you've had great germination, let me know below, because it's always really interesting to hear, comments from different people and see how you're getting on with it. Any problems, let me know as well. I will always answer questions. So thank you very much. I'll see you later. Bye.